Hello everyone. In the last class, we have studied about normal subgroups and some theorems on the normal subgroups. So today, we shall see some results related to the normal subgroups. First one, the intersection of two normal subgroups of G is again a normal subgroup of G. So that means if you consider any two normal subgroups of G and the intersection of those normal subgroups will be again a normal subgroup only. So that is, if H and K are the two normal subgroups, then H intersection K. So that is, H intersection K is again a normal subgroup. Proof. Let H and K be the two normal subgroups of G, then by the property of subgroups, we have the intersection of two normal subgroups is again a subgroup. Therefore, H intersection is also a subgroup of G. So now we shall prove H intersection K is a normal subgroup of G. For that, let X belongs to G and H belongs to H intersection K. Then it may be written as X belongs to G, and since this element H belongs to both H and K, we can write it as H belongs to H and H belongs to K, because H belongs to the H intersection K. Therefore, now by the definition of normal subgroups, we have, so by the definition we have, if X is belongs to G and H belongs to H, then by definition of normal subgroup H, we can write it as X inverse belongs to H. Okay. Now, since H and K are normal subgroups, we can write this one, that is, it implies that as X belongs to G and H belongs to H, we can write it as X inverse belongs to H, and also as X belongs to G and H belongs to K, so then we can write it as X inverse belongs to the normal group K. Now, so see here, X inverse belongs to H and it is also belongs to the subgroup K. Therefore, we can write it as X inverse belongs to H intersection K. Now, by the definition, X inverse belongs to H intersection K means we can say it as, that is, H intersection K is normal subgroup of G. So this is the proof. So it is very simple one. So just we have to consider a common element which belongs to H intersection K. Okay, that means H belongs to H and H belongs to K. Then by the definition, since H and K are the normal subgroups, we can write it as X inverse belongs to H and X inverse belongs to K, because X belongs to G and H belongs to H and H belongs to K. Now on combining these two we can write it as XH X inverse belongs to H intersection K. Therefore by the definition, since XH X inverse belongs to H, then we called H as a normal subgroup. Now XH X inverse belongs to H intersection K, therefore we can call this H intersection K as a normal subgroup of G. Now before going to the second result, we shall see some one definition, that is center of a group. The set of all those elements of G which commute with every other element of G is called as the center of the group G. That is, Z is a center of group G such that Z belongs to G such that ZA equals to AZ, which commutes means here commutative law holds good. ZA equals to AZ for all A belongs to G. So that means it is a group, it is a collection of those elements which satisfies this condition. So here even Z and A both belongs to the group G. Now the second result, the center Z of a group G is a normal subgroup of G. So now we have to prove that the collection of all the elements which satisfies AZ equals to ZA, that is center of G, is a normal subgroup of G. Okay. So now proof, the center of a group G is given by the definition, it is equals to Z belongs to G, ZX equals to XZ, that is you can take it as ZA equals to AZ for all X belongs to G. Okay. So this is center of Z. Now we have to prove Z is a normal subgroup of G. Now clearly Z is a subgroup of G. So see here, as Z belongs to G and A belongs to G, both the elements belongs to G, by the closure property we can write it as AZ belongs to G. That means all the elements in the Z are of the form ZX equals to XZ. Since AZ belongs to Z, then AZ equals to ZA, this one also belongs to G. That means this set Z is subgroup of G. Okay. Now we have to show that Z is a normal in G, that is normal subgroup of G. For that, let X belongs to G and small z belongs to center of G, that is capital Z, be any two elements, okay, or we can say it as arbitrary elements. Now X, Z, X inverse, this can be written as, I will group XZ together and X inverse. Okay. Now XZ can be written as ZX because it belongs to the center of G. Therefore, in the center of G, ZX equals to XZ for all X belongs to G. Okay. By using this, we can write it as XZ equals to ZX into X inverse, or it can be written as Z as it is, we group X and X inverse together, or we can write it as Z X into X inverse equals to E. By the inverse law, we have A into A inverse or A inverse into A equals to E. Okay, therefore X into X inverse equals to E, or z dot E equals to we get z only. So this is from the identity law. So if you operate any element with identity element, you will get the same element. So but we know that this z belongs to the capital Z, that is center of G. So which means that, so what we have considered here, x z x inverse, okay, we got it belongs to the center of Z. We know that by the definition of normal subgroup, that is suppose H is a normal subgroup, then by the definition we get x H x inverse belongs to H. So that means if x H x inverse belongs to H, then we call this H as a normal. So in the same way, since x z x inverse belongs to the Z, we call this Z as a normal subgroup of G. Okay, so this is the proof. Now definition of normalizer of an element. The normalizer of an element A belongs to G is the set of all those elements of G which commute with A, that is NA equals to x belongs to G such that AX equals to XA. So normalizer of an element is nothing but it is the collection of all the elements which satisfies the commutative law. So that is it commutes with A means it is the collection of all those A's which satisfies this condition, AX equals to XA. Next, definition of factor group or quotient group. Okay, so this theorem is very important. In the exam they will ask as define factor group or quotient group. Okay, otherwise they may ask that state and prove factor theorem. So in that you have to write both the definition and theorem. Okay, now factor group, definition of the factor group. Let G be a group and H be a normal subgroup of G. Then the set, or you can write it as the group G by H of all the right or left cosets of normal subgroup H in G together with the binary operation defined by HA dot HB is equals to HAB for all HA or HB belongs to G by H is called a factor group or the quotient group. So it means that any group which satisfies this condition is called as the factor group. Okay. Now we move for the theorem. If H is a normal subgroup of finite order, then order of G by H, that is order of the factor group. So see here G by H means G by H. So this is denotation of factor group. Okay. So order of the factor group means, order means here number of the element present in that group, because order of, we are considering order of G by H means order of the factor group means the number of elements present in the factor group is always equals to order of the G divided by order of H, that is number of elements in G divided by number of elements in H. Okay, so this is very simple one proof. By the definition, order of G by H means that is the number of elements present in H, G by H. So the number of elements means the number of distinct cosets of H, because by the definition of the factor group we have the number of distinct cosets of H. So which is equals to index of H in G. So index means this one. So in the last class only we have seen that the meaning of index of H, it is nothing but the number of distinct right cosets or left cosets is called as the index of H and is given by order of G divided by order of H. So this is by the Lagrange's theorem. Hence we can write it as order of G by H is equals to order of G divided by order of H. So this is the proof.